The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Saturdays. Yeah. Good morning. Well, no, it's not. Anyway, good day to you. Good day to you. Good day. Oh, waking up. You waking up? Yep. All right, so today we are going to actually do what I do on February 28th is I do the February 29th daily reflection. So that's what we'll be doing today. It is called One AA Miracle. I added and after another because it is one miracle after another. It's not just one AA miracle. Although what they're doing is they're talking about one AA miracle in particular, but we're going to take it a little bit further. Good morning, Amber. It is good to see you. Yeah. I forgot to reblock my cousin. She decided to talk more crap. I don't even know what I did. So here's the story. Here's a little story about we won't do Fresh Prince. All right. Is that you guys ever see that off, on, lock? All right. Hat tricks with Dion. So I did not know a side of my family till I was about 45 when I reached out to my biological father. That was the first time I talked to him. And this cousin is accusing me of lying about that. It's been 10 years. If I was going to try and rip off the family and I mean, I would have done it by now. And I'll tell you what this is. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's alcoholism. It's alcoholism, man. So um, I refrained from saying anything else, stirring the pot more, defending myself. I just went and blocked. I jumped on my daily trudge. They must have seen a video. A video must have popped up or something. It's called me a narcissist. I only talk about myself. So she's not wrong. She's not entirely wrong. I'm exactly who I'm talking about when I come here. So she's not incorrect. All right. Oh, Amber says, I had my phone taking video of me, you on the table, and a day. Al's meeting where we are cleaning or doing chores together. Hey, you know, this virtual world, and that's what we call it. You know, you can still hang out and do stuff together. You may not be actually together, but these are ways of being able to hang out and seeing each other. So good stuff. Glad to hear that. That's cool. That's cool. I think somebody, I think somebody might have a device problem. How many devices you got? You got phone taking video. You got me on YouTube, and then another one. You got three going. You must have pretty good internet. All right, it's time for Dion's daily funnies. Let's get to it. What did one hat say to the other hat? You stay here. I'll go on a. Man, not a talking piece. All right. Why did the coffee why did the coffee file a police report? Because it got mugged. It got mugged. I was going to tell you about a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it. I used to be a baker, but I just didn't make enough dough. That one will work better if you say, I used to be a baker, but I had to quit because I wasn't making enough dough. A little bit better. All right, I'm writing a book about glue, but I'm stuck on the first chapter. What did one plate whisper to the other plate? Dinner's on me. One more. One more. Just keep it even. I have two laugh tracks, and I have to use each of them equally, or they get upset. All right. Like my cats. If I pet one cat, I gotta kind of pet all of them. Why did the golfer bring two pairs of pants? Well, in case he got a hole in one. That's it for Dion's Daily Funnies. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you enjoyed them. Yes. Not quite awake. That's all right. Welcome to Daily Church. My name is Dion. I am your host. Your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. Live or the rewatch. So I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to do this. All right. Because I'm going to be on topic and off topic. So, page 57, it told us a story here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to read the full story. And then it's not a chapter story, it's just one quick story in the first 164 pages. And then we will read from the daily reflection, and then we'll cover the other miracles. All right. Our friend was a minister's son. He attended church school where he became rebellious at what he thought an overdose of religious education. For years thereafter, he was dogged by trouble and frustration, business failure, insanity, fatal illness, suicide. These calamities in his immediate family embittered and depressed him. Post-war delusion, which we call that PTSD now, just so you know. You probably did. Sounds like it, right? So, even more serious alcoholism, impending mental and physical collapse brought him to the point of self-destruction. One night, when confined in a hospital, he was approached by an alcoholic who had known a spiritual experience. Our friend's gorge rose as he bitterly cried out, "If there is a God, he certainly hasn't done anything for me." But later, alone in his room, he asked himself this question: is it possible that all the religious people I have known are wrong? While pondering the answer, he felt as though he lived in hell. Then, like a thunderbolt, a great thought came. It was crowded out by all. It crowded out all else. Who are you to say there is no God? Okay? A lot of us get there in different ways. In this case, this person had, you know, a lot of religious education, but not necessarily spiritual experiences, right? Right. And what he felt was an overdose, that it was too much. Right. Um, but that it was also that education that helped him to get to where he needed to be. right? So now he's about to have what we would consider his first spiritual experience. And he figured it out. Who are you to say there is no God? Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in a higher power or not, you've got to relinquish the control of playing God, right? And that's a saying, not a determination. That doesn't mean you believe in, just because you're playing God doesn't mean you believe in God, but you're still doing it, right? You're still you're still trying to control everybody around you in these different things. Anyway, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the miracle part, right? The man recounts that he tumbled out of bed to his knees. In a few seconds, he was overwhelmed by the conviction of the presence of God. It poured over and through him with the certainty and majesty of a great tide at flood. The barriers he had built through the years were swept away. He stood in the presence of infinite power and love. He stepped from bridge to shore for the first time. He lived in conscious companion with his creator. For the first time, he lived in conscious companionship with his creator. All right? So he was rocketed into the fourth dimension. Yeah. Hey. Thus was our friend's cornerstone fixed in place. No later vicissitude has shaken it. His alcoholic problem was taken away. That night, that very night years ago, it disappeared. Save for a few brief moments of temptation, the thought of drink has never returned, and at such times of a great revulsion has risen in him. Seemingly he could not drink if he would. God had restored his sanity. Right? So we have to remember that we need to become, when it comes to alcohol, we need to become neutral. We cannot be angry with alcohol. Some people think that if they get angry enough at alcohol, they'll quit. Well, if I hate it, then I won't. Yeah, yeah. We tried that way. It didn't work. Hate does not solve your drinking problem. It ain't happen, right? What is this but a miracle of healing? Yet its elements are simple. Yeah. The elements were simple. And what were the elements? The elements were, if there is a God, he hasn't done anything for me. Then the next part was, is it possible that all the religious people I have known are wrong? And then it ended with, who are you to say there is no God? And who am I to say that there is no God? Right? So its elements were simple. The circumstances made him willing to believe. He humbly offered himself to his maker, then he knew. Even so, God has restored us all to our right minds. To this man, the revelation was sudden. Some of us grow into it more slowly, but he has come to all who have honestly sought him. When we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us. Absolutely. Right? And what is that? What is that AA miracle? What is the first? If you want to, feel free to write it in there. What was your first AA miracle? Mine was the obsession was removed, but it might be different for you. That might have been, it may be something else happened for you. The obsession was removed later. Dr. Bob, it took 2.5 years, right? But that didn't mean that he wasn't capable of having spiritual experiences and seeing miracles in his life, or he wouldn't have stayed sober those 2.5 years, right? So it's kind of different for all of us. And so when we talk about multiple pathways to recovery, that is the multiple pathway. Your pathway was different than mine, and it was quite the same. Right? We experience things differently, and we need those experiences, because one of my experiences might help somebody, and then you come along and say it a different way, and they're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Great. See, we need all of that. We need to be able to look at things differently. We need different opinions. Absolutely. All right. So now we'll go back to the reading for February 29th. The word God was frightening to me when I first saw it associated with the AA's 12 steps. Having tried all the means I could to stop drinking, I found that it was not possible for me to sustain that desire over a period of time. I have zero. I probably have -10 willpower when it comes to alcohol. I either have the obsession or I don't. It's very straightforward with me. Now that doesn't mean I had a sudden spiritual experience, okay? But I did notice that the craving for alcohol was just gone. But unlike Dr. Bob, I didn't yield. I kept drinking. Right? And it took me a long time, almost 4 years. Yet how I could believe, Yet how could I believe in a God that allowed me to sink into the deep despair that engulfed me, whether drinking or dry? It's a good question. This is human will. That is human will. It's because you weren't doing what God was asking you to do. I wasn't. When I start making decisions all on my own, whether it has to do with alcohol or not, I tend to be wrong because I don't always think of everything. I try to. I try and think of everybody involved, you know. But even then, it is best to talk to other people about what about this? What about that? You know. Hmm. And that might irritate you a little bit because you had the idea in your head. All right. Why does that always? Yeah. Yeah. I see you spying on me, phone. I saw that. The answer what the answer was in finally admitting that it might be possible for me to know the mercy of a power greater than myself who could grant me sobriety contingent on my willingness to come to believe. On my willingness. Thank God for that word. If it wasn't for willingness, I don't think that any of us would be here. I don't. If it wasn't for God creating willingness for us. I turned the heat up way too high. Whew. Whew, why? Getting that warm in here. My finger hurts when I use it, and it's always stiff now. Ah, all right. Cool me breeze. Woo, yay. The answer was finally admitting that it might be possible for me to know the mercy power greater than myself, who could grant me right, contingent on my willingness, right? By finally admitting that I was one among many, and by following the example of my sponsor and other AA members and practicing faith I did not have, my life has been given meaning, direction, and purpose. And that's the difference for me also. My life has been given meaning and purpose. And I'll tell you now, there's several things that God's asked me to do. I don't really want to do them. All right. So one AA miracle after another. When I first came in, I wanted one big miracle, and what I got was 1,000 small ones. All right. Well, and that's what Chat GPT is saying. I didn't really feel that way, but I think a lot of people do. How soon do you want to get well? Most people are going to say now would be good. Yeah, they'll say things like yesterday. Yeah. All right. Now, you can get through the steps in a good amount of time. All right. But how soon you heal is between you and God, and it's kind of different for everybody. So don't put any expectations on it. Okay. Follow, There was a reason why you ended up with your sponsor. So I would probably follow what they say, even if it's kind of different from other people, because maybe it's what you need, right? Multiple pathways, different people, right? And that's why we're all different, so that we can, and that in itself is a miracle too, right? Amber takes her people through the steps a lot quicker than me. I'm Mr. Slow and Steady. Okay, well, not slow and steady. That makes it sound like she isn't. Right. Okay. But there's in both of them. There is structure, and it's kind of done the same way. Right. Now, I've learned from other people. Yeah, I have, and the time that I'm getting those steps done is shortening a little bit, and I think that's helping the sponsees out. Right. So at the same time, it is not my recovery. It is theirs. And I am there to help them, not to mandate what they do, right? So when we first come in, a lot of us wanted that big miracle, that turnaround. Why? Because we didn't want to do the work. We wanted sudden change because we didn't want to do the work. That'd be the only reason why I wanted sudden change. Otherwise, see, I knew I was going to have to do the work. So, you know, because we expected instant relief, instant transformation, instant peace, instant gratification. Woo! Right? And we live in a world of instant gratification right now. Yeah. Everybody wants everything on instant minute. I call this the instant minute age because everybody's so hurry, hurry, hurry. I want it now, need it now. I know I only gave you 10 minutes before you're leaving, but I want you to fill that script now because I am demanding it. Good luck with that kind of life. Didn't work for me. So what we got was gradual healing, which I'm going to tell you is so much better, right? Because you'll see it when it's overwhelming. You're not going to catch everything, and don't you want all your gifts? Okay, or are you just going to be that greedy kid on Christmas? Right? We also got daily change and a quiet growth. And God gave you peace, man. When He took away that obsession, He gave you peace. Absolutely. Amber says, "Man, it's a nice day." Yes, it is. I plan on doing the rest of my stuff outside today because it's February and 65 degrees, no wind. I mean, it is literally perfect outside. I would agree, Amber. It's a beautiful day. Now, the day wouldn't be that beautiful, nor would I recognize it if I was still drinking. I wouldn't. I wouldn't fucking care. Well, yeah, I would, because then I'd be outside. I'd be like, "Yeah, we put on music." You know, a nice day is a great reason to drink for Dion. Well, it used to be, not anymore. Now you get to just enjoy them for what they are, right? What we thought the miracle was. We thought we were winning the lottery, that life was going to get easier. Now, is my life easier than it was when I was drinking? That it's a tough comparison for me because the last 10 years have been very challenging. I've had to go through a lot in the last 10 years. So, and it wasn't easy, but my drinking wasn't easy either. You know, so instead of figuring out, well, is this part easier or is that part easier? This is what I'm going to say. Pick your hard. Pick your hard. Both are hard ways. Okay. One leads to a fruitful life and requires more work. It requires more action. But because you are not drinking, you will have the energy and the time to do that. In fact, you will have some left over in order to do other things. It's kind of the whole point. We've been talking about this a lot. Okay. AA is not about being in AA meetings all day long. Some days you may need that. Maybe in the beginning, great. Okay. If that's what you need in the beginning, fuck yeah, do it. But there has to be a point when you take those principles that you are learning in all these meetings that you're going to and bringing it out into the real world. Okay. Don't don't jump into AA or any of this so much that you're still ignoring your kids, that you're still ignoring what you need to get done. Okay. That's what's great about Zoom. Okay. I do a lot of chores during Zoom. Sure, I do dishes, I do laundry, I do all sorts of stuff while I'm in a Zoom meeting because I've done that stuff. So I can do dishes and listening. I've done dishes so many times that I don't need to think about it. Right. Anyway, right. So we thought our problems were going to disappear and we were never going to feel uncomfortable again. And then we find out that the real miracle was the change of mind, the psychic change. I changed my mind. I didn't want to live that life anymore. What another miracle. A different thought process. Right? So you're gonna find that the program is more like the Karate Kid than it is anything else. You're learning skills that you don't even know that you're learning, like delayed gratification. Okay. A lot of times, even the sponsor doesn't even know this stuff is going on. Right. I see it. I have a counseling background, so I look for this stuff. Right. And what's going to happen is you're going to go to your sponsor and they'll be like, nothing's not working. And I don't remember. And you're going to whine. Or something in your life is going to happen and you're not going to react the same way that you do. And it's going to surprise you. Even in the moment, it's going to surprise you. You'll be like, why is it that I'm not getting mad about this? Weird. Why is it that I can see it for what it is? Yes, these are the miracles, man. You know, how many times you go to a meeting and hear somebody say, I'm proud of myself because I didn't chew somebody's ass out when I felt like they deserved it today. That's progress for us. Yes. Good job. Hey. So the program is a lot like the Karate Kid. Okay. Right. The repetitiveness of it over and over and over and over and over and over. Because like karate, AA is muscle memory. Okay. Your bad habits are muscle memory. It's just doing it's just following the pattern you gave it for 20 years. Right. So, all right. So what are some early miracles? Not picking up the first drink. All right. You avoid this time. I did not pick up that drink. Somebody offered me a drink and I refused it. Or I've had a really hard day. It's Friday. Payday, it's nice out. I'm going to pull into the liquor store. You know what? I think I'm going to try an AA meeting first, see if that helps. Yeah, things like that, right? Surviving the first 24 hours, sitting in a meeting instead of a bar. Those are great miracles. Mm. On Fridays in my group, I always bring up it's Friday and you decided to go to a meeting instead. Good job. Good job, right? Staying sober today is not normal for us. So it's a miracle, right? Now it feels normal to me. Being sober feels normal to me now. It feels more normal now than it would drinking. So it does change. There'll come a day. You do this program long enough, you stick around long enough, and one day that'll happen to you too. Yeah. Pausing before reacting. That you told the truth. Making amends, letting go of resentment, choosing humility over ego. Okay. The miracle isn't really dramatical. It's not drama. It's direction. Following direction. That's a miracle. Alcoholics following direction. Wow. Miracle in and of itself right there. Right? Look at all these miracles. Right? And why are they? Because most of the people in the world don't do it. You're going to see that too. Then your relationships get restored. You start building trust. The family heals. Friendships get repaired. Or you get new healthy connections. That's what happened to me. I There was nobody left at the end of my drinking. There was my wife, and that was it. My kids had gone. They gone. They ran. And I don't blame them. Absolutely. That was all that was left. There was no drinking buddies. There were no friendships to repair. No, none of them want to talk to me. I was an asshole. And when I say I was an asshole, I was an asshole intentionally. Yeah, alcohol does that to me. Instant asshole, just add alcohol. Yeah. And you know what? And there's another miracle. The day I decided to stop calling myself head asshole. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And I quit calling myself names because I'm not an asshole. I'm not. I'm not that person. Do I wish I could meet some of these other people again so they could meet the real Dion? Sure. Is that up to me? No. Do I need it so that I can survive and be who I am? No. Don't need it either. I know. I have great friendships. I probably have some of the best friendships now than I have ever had in my life. I'm 55. I'm also an alcoholic. All right. So it didn't happen, and it didn't happen overnight. It took steady work, years of steady work, and it was worth it. It was all worth it. Everything that I went through was worth it. When you have a child who is 6, 7 months sober, you're going to say the same thing. Yep. So, broken things slowly come back together. How about emotional sobriety, where you can find peace in the chaos? That's a big one, man. All right. And we become the people that other people go to because we look at things the right way. You'll be, you'll eventually become that person where people will come to you because you're able to stay calm in the chaos, and that'll make them feel safe. Yeah. Okay. Where I used to have these big mood swings, I'm a lot more stable when it comes to my emotions. Big deals, man. All right. I start to accept things for what they are instead of trying to control everything in my life. I found that I really don't have much control in my life anymore. I really don't. I'm okay with it. I have some, don't get me wrong, I have some control. I can make decisions, I can make plans, things like that. But at the end of the day, it's God that determines who I help and what I do. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. So calm used to feel impossible. Now it is just there. It's just a fact of life. Is it always that way? No. Okay. Trying to have patience. I'm trying to have patience. I'm just so tired of my finger hurting. It's just, uh, okay. So, the ongoing miracles. It isn't just going to end. Oh. Uh, Hi, Harold. Good to see you, Harold. By the grace of God, I'm sober today in the fellowship for the past 24 years. Right on. Wow. I gave you a good clap, but I had finger surgery, so clap, 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 clap. My hat's off to you, my brother. Good job. Wow. See? 24 years. Miracles. All right. And Harold, you would probably agree with me that it's going to be one miracle after another. And it's not just going to be your miracles, it's going to be other people's miracles that you get to be a part of. Watching the lights come on when somebody comes in and they finally got it, or the moment when they figured out their higher power and move into that 4 step, or when they come to the meeting and say, I haven't seen my children in 2 years and I get to see them this weekend. Yeah, it's one miracle after another. And I get to see it because I am free from the bondage of my own bullcrap. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, you might think this isn't for you. You might think you're not worth it. And I used to think that too. See, I was in AA before. I had 10 years. I went out. I didn't think I was, and I knew better. I knew better. But the alcoholic brain is so deceitful and tricksy. It is so tricksy, right? So when I came back in, I didn't feel like I deserved it. I didn't feel like I was worth it. I'll tell you now, it is just another thing I was wrong about. I was wrong. I am worth it. Now I take a look around, I'm like, and I see all the people that I'm helping. Yes, I was more than worth it. You're more than worth it. Harold says, thank you, thank you. The program, it's working for me every day when I wake up. Thank you, Harold. And I think that's a good place to end on too. I think that's a great place to end. So keep watching out for those miracles. Every day, there are going to be miracles in your life. Whether you choose to see them for what they are is going to be up to you. So remember, what you have is a daily reprieve contingent on your spiritual maintenance. Did you pray this morning? Have you prayed yet? Hmm. All right. All right. I have 15 minutes to go, and then I might hang out with a sponsee. He's not even a sponsee. He's done with the steps. We do. I'm going to go hang out with a friend in 15 minutes. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Harold, again, congratulations on 24 years. That is fantastic. Great job. I love you all. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.